Okay, so let me explain the tiers first. So I have been thinking less in terms of S minus, A, B, and more in these terms. So wins should be pretty obvious. Wins should be like these characters just win. Like they win stuff too. So like they win. Oh wait, let me forget. Some people are not black, so they will not understand that I have lotion in my room. Instead of S minus, that's usually what I do. I do letters like everyone else. Instead, I have been thinking of the game like this, especially since I've been thinking a lot extra about what character to play to try to qualify for Arc Revo. So you have winning characters, which I think everyone agrees these characters can win and do win and perform very well in tournaments consistently, and they have a lot of representation. You've seen them a lot. Then we have relevant, where the characters are definitely characters you have to worry about in tournaments. Some of them perform, some of them don't, but you have to worry about them. Like, it's not free, you have to worry about them. A couple of these characters, mainly Faust. I think the main borderline one is Faust. One thing I think they did very well is that there are more relevant characters than less relevant characters, right? Then under that is Counterpick. So the main reason why I don't think these characters are super relevant is because they struggle too much with characters that win, but they have like good matchups that are just not common, right? And then niche, these are like, it is what it is, where like I will definitely hear the argument from somebody where Axel is more of a counter pick than like a niche pick, but overall these characters, their main problem ends up being that there are characters in the game that do what they do, but better or in a more stable way. So let's go through each one. So we're gonna go Japanese style. We're gonna go right to left. So Anji got a bunch of stuff that is. You're gonna hear me say this a lot. Like Anji got a bunch of stuff that is good, but he's still doing his overall same game plan. His Oki is slightly weaker in some situations compared to before, and the thing is, like, while he got neutral buffs, other characters got neutral buffs, he still has to, like, commit a lot. So even though he has a lot of HP to gamble with, he does have to commit a lot in a game where a lot of characters don't have to commit to doing stuff. That's probably, like, my biggest issue with him. On top of that, I feel like, outside of what you would probably expect from him matchup-wise, he has, like, niche matchups that are not good. Like, he loses to Milia, for example, right? Which most people probably don't want a losing matchup to Milia, right? Then you have Potemkin. I actually think probably Potemkin is the worst character. I don't think Anji's the worst character. I think probably Potemkin is the worst character. I feel like he is still paying for his sins from Accent Core because, they really just Exler, they never give him anything, and then like this game they don't give him anything. So when the game came out, like I was really, let's say, annoyed by Guard Crush, to put it lightly. But now a lot of other characters have like Guard Crush and all these really powerful sequences, and Potemkin only gets it in a really specific situation. He still is a good one chance character. Like he does have one opportunity every round to try to win, but before that he's just getting bullied, and the characters who are stronger can stop him from even using meter to try to get in. So it's just kind of struggle. Axel, I would say, if I use this type of tier structure last patch, I would probably put him in like Counterpick. The main reason why he's niche is because like the system changes I don't think really help him that much. I think he is a solid tournament character mostly because he has a lot of unusual good matchups, and if you use the system mechanics well, his defense is fine. I'll hear an argument for him being a Counterpick character and not a niche character. But overall, I think they're characters who play at range like almost as well as he does, and then like they can either like mix you because he's not good at mixing, or they're better at keeping offense than him, and like things like that. Then above that is Counterpick tier. So again, the main thing about these characters is that they are really good in specific matchups, but I feel like their spread is not quite good enough to be relevant. Or they have some problem that is like really obnoxious for people who play that character to deal with. So they have other options with characters, right? So Ino, I know she got some buffs and some nerfs. I think the H-Stroke thing is pretty big nerf to people who are in like tower players and stuff. Of course, at like high level, people are really good at dealing with H-stroke, but that was like one of her really important tools for neutral and extending pressure, and now it's negative, so they made her RPS in neutral and offense a little bit harder because of that. She's still though, so her offense is really good. She's good at dice rolling. She's very volatile. She's good after gold burst. She has all her normal strengths, but there are other characters who have those strengths as well. And she has a bunch of like matchup stuff. Like again, she loses to Milia. I think Axel Eno is kind of a weird one to say the least. Faust is better, which is a problem for her. The Goldlewis is better, which is a problem for her. Geo's still here. Testament is better. Like there's a lot of characters that I think she would be able to RPS with more aggressively than previous patch, where in this patch she can't do it as well, right? Then there's Soul. So Soul, I think, is pretty close to relevant. I'll take an argument for Soul being relevant out of the characters in this tier, for sure. His damage is still out here. He still has really good defense. His offense is still fine. Like he has plus normals, he can push and stuff. My main thing about Soul right now is that they have kept him like normal. Like he's like I'm gonna go back to this when I talk about Kai too. They have kept him very normal, and they have introduced a lot of characters that are not normal. So that's my main issue with him right now. I can definitely hear an argument for him being relevant, to be fair. But there's a lot of characters where like, okay, they buffed Faust, they buffed Jacko, they buffed Goldlewis, they buffed Testament, they buffed Baiken. So these characters, and they buffed Milia also. Milia is important for him to talk about. So these characters, not only did they get a bunch of neutral nerfs, but they also got things to help with their general game plan, where Soul's game plan has kind of been kept the same, and like they've been toning down normals and like toning down defense, toning down damage in some situations. So he's not the same as last year. Of course he's like worse than last year, but a lot of characters just keep on getting stuff, and they have strong win conditions on top of that, where he has a pretty standard win condition where he has to like overextend on his offense, and his main threat is damage. Right, so I sort of feel like he's more in Counterpick tier, but I would also definitely hear an argument for him to be relevant. Okay, then we have Milia. I have by the time I post this, probably the video I have made about Milia will not be done. So I will try to summarize why I think she's here and not relevant. So there's a few issues. One, I think she still loses to Leo. I think she loses to every heavy character. That's one big issue. Two, I think she loses on her own offense, on her own block string offense. I'll talk about this more as we talk about more characters, because I think this is a common problem in the game, and it's fine for this to be a problem. Losing on your offense means that when you are doing your block string, your opponent can like defend against it during your block string, pick something, and like get a reward for hitting you, right? It's a pretty normal fighting game interaction. The thing is, though, in this game, one common thing about the characters that win is that, and we'll revisit this too, is that they do not lose this way. They all don't have to worry about this, right? Every single one of those characters, and in the space that they do, there's usually like spaces you can challenge, but it's not the same as the other characters. That's like one of the best things about the absolute top tiers. So Milia has it like extra bad though, because her close slash is 2 hits and not 1, so it's easier for the defender to see that I'm doing close slash than it is for the Milia player to see what the defender is doing, which I think makes it kind of tough. And then her other big issue is that she is not able to attack safely from ranges where other characters can. And of course, so like a good example from a top tier would be like Zato or Happy Chaos, where like Happy Chaos has steady aim, we don't even have to talk about that, and Zato has Eddy, so like Pierce hits from like 4 character lengths away, it's instant. Nobiru, if he jumped, that's the frog. So if you jump into the frog, he gets a full combo, or he gets to run up and mix you from neutral. And he has oppose, which is 16 frames or so. So he has a move that protects him, and if you press the wrong button, he does 2H and you take 70%. So he's able to protect himself in neutral and create safe offense from neutral, where Milia is not able to do that. To be fair to her, other characters are not able to do this as well, but they're also not as good as top tiers, right? So that being said, she has a bunch of strengths, but that is her main strengths is that since she got buffed, I think she's not niche anymore. Probably last patch I would say she's a niche pick. She has a bunch of she has an interesting matchup spread to say the least, where I think she's like good versus Sol, good versus Ino, good versus Axel, good versus Anji, good versus good versus Jacko, fine on Faust, fine on Mei, fine versus Kyle, fine versus Baiken, fine versus Testament. Like, she has a lot of fine matchups, a ton of fine matchups. The issue is her matchups against top tiers are mostly not so great, right? Mostly not so great. There is a timeline where I can sort of say she's relevant, but some of these characters, like between like the characters I win and a couple of the relevant characters like Gold Lewis, I have issues thinking that she's a totally relevant character that you can reliably make like top 8 at like 1,000 man. Let's lower the standards a little bit. Like a tournament with 400 entrants or more, I think it would be a struggle for her to make top 8. So only playing her the way she is. So for me, Counterpick. Okay. From here we have relevant. These characters aren't totally in order, but I will say Faust and Jacko, I will gladly take arguments for them being Counterpick with Milia, Sol, and Ino. So the nice thing about this format is like it's less locked in than being like S minus, blah blah blah. Like, I think Sol could be relevant. I think Milia could be relevant. I think Faust and Jacko, not Jacko, honestly not Jacko, but Faust I think could be Counterpick, right? So this tier basically means you can play this character and expect to have good results. The characters are definitely strong, and they probably don't really need that much. And this tier I think is the ideal balance. And outside of Faust, and honestly, Faust really honestly is relevant. I think all these characters are definitely here, and that's probably the best thing about Season 2 balance in my mind currently. You know. Side note, we have this patch until winter, so the next time I'll do this is probably going to be around October or November, and we'll see how we feel, right? So first we'll start with Jacko. Jacko, my favorite character in this game, right? She's a 10, but her last name is Valentine, right? So this character got a bunch of buffs. I'm gonna be going a little back and forth with this character. So I have been playing a lot of Baiken at this time, and I will say this is the first time I've ever seen Jacko run out of resources with me playing Baiken against Jacko. I'll meet you guys in the middle as I continue to learn more about the matchup. I have a ton of experience against this character. It's Milia. The main thing that's really good about this character is that she beats you catching you blocking. She beats you when she hits you, and she doesn't also need to hit you to win games. Those are like the main things, and then she got all her buffs on top of that, so her mix is better and things like that. Her mix is better, the minions are better at killing projectiles, and she starts the round with full resource, which last version, I think her main massive amongst a list of issues, her main massive issue was she did not start the round with full resource, which for me I'm like, thank goodness. But now we have to play this against this juiced version of her. She is not commonly represented in tournaments. She has a high skill floor. I think everyone agrees on that. But I think this character is super strong. Like, this character is super strong. Just the fact that you don't have to hit people to win, and she has traveling normals that are safe, and she's able to gamble in safe ways. And they aided her with this a little bit with some changes to the whistle and stuff like that. I think helped her out a lot. In my opinion, basically the main thing that keeps her down from winning tier is that no matter what, this will not change unless they go nuts. Is that she requires 2 steps to play her true neutral game, because once she has minions out, she's stronger, right? So the issue is she has to put them down. Now the good news is it's instant, like it's fast, but the bad news is she still has to do it, and a lot of the characters who win outside of Zato, and even Zato can kind of do this, and also some of these characters who are relevant can do this. They can stop her from doing that, right? They can stop her between like steady aim, Ram's big swords, Leo fireball, Nago's big sword, Chip is super fast, Testament huge buttons, Bridget huge buttons, Geo has a teleport basically. You know, like a lot of characters have ways to prevent her from just putting the thing down. So this will forever be like one of her big weaknesses outside of like defense stuff. Defense, no DP anymore, thank God. And then she has a command grab super, but it's a grab super. So while it does the job, like you have something, it loses to jump, which kind of sucks. Yeah, cool. Then yeah, Faust. So Faust still has all the good stuff that like the good walk speed, good normals, items. But they upped his conversion ability. I'm really glad they buffed him and not the items, because I think buffing the items is like a lazy way of buffing item throw characters. Him having the buff normals and conversion ability is definitely, and it puts him closer to Exert Faust, because Exert Faust is decent at converting buttons. Now, one thing about him being able to convert more though is that you really feel the impact of what he's doing more, because the thing is, you know, a bunch of the stuff he's doing now he was always able to do as far as like neutral control, you know, like using anti-air 5k, 6p, like all this stuff. However, now he gets better combos in more situations, so like when you mash you feel it more, when you get anti-air you feel it more, everything you feel more now, which is really helpful for him. Also, I think he has a pretty unique match spread too, where like I always felt like he was pretty good against Soul, but he just didn't have the damage to keep up. Or like I felt like he was good against Nago, but he didn't have the damage to keep up. He's good against Faust. He was okay. Let's just say good. He was okay against Zato, but he didn't have the damage to keep up. So with the extra conversion ability, I think he is essentially relevant. I'll hear arguments for him to be slightly lower, but I basically think he's irrelevant. Also, Pump Master Flow with the gift sub. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. No downplaying in these streets. You already know. Okay. So May. So May. I know that every time May gets changed, May players get really mad. I think she's good like all the time though. I think she's a pretty good tournament character. I really like how Slash performed at this tournament, because he showed basically her main strong things, which is she's mobile, she's hard to anti-air, and if she hits you with meter, she is very hard to burst. It's not impossible to burst her, but she's very hard to burst, and she does a lot of damage. So it's very, very straightforward. One nice thing about her is that she has a couple of nice, relevant, like Zato is probably like the main one you'd want to talk about. Chip is another one because she does so much damage. The way she plays neutral is nice because she has a lot of instant movement between her backdash and S Dolphin. So even though she's simple, like she's a pretty simple, straightforward character, you're basically threatening with damage and mobility in a pretty, honestly, a pretty scary way. Depending on the character, one thing I've been thinking about for May. Playing Milia has definitely spoiled me against May, because Milia has very good defense against May, but other characters don't, and like other characters have to like hold H Dolphin a little bit more. They're not able to like gamble as safely as characters with high jumps or fast air dashes and stuff. And this comes across in tournaments a lot with some of the characters that people are using. I would personally say her two big issues and two big macro issues. One, she loses from her own offense. That definitely sucks. S Dolphin is -5, so you have to play that guessing game. Different characters play it different way. There's some characters like Geo and Milia who like smoke her on S Dolphin, where other characters don't have as good as an option set against it, so she can gamble in a more straightforward way. That's one big issue. The other big issue is similar to Milia. I don't think she's good at attacking from safe ranges, really. Like, you kind of have to overextend in neutral. But she's fast, and you get returns. So at least when you do it, you bombo them, right? So you got those going for you. Her counterpoke game is very good, but there's some characters who, like, they don't even go into that range. So, like, who cares if you press 5H, right? Bam. So there's Kyle. So Kyle, this one will definitely tick some people off, because some people think he's, like, top tier legit. Basically, the way I feel about Kyle is, like, he got the juice that all the, like, many other characters got. Like, one really common thing in his patch is that a lot of characters got, like, far slash disjoint, 2S disjoint, far slash faster. So if you had a 10 frame far slash, now you have a 9 frame one. If you had an 11 frame far slash, now you have a 10 frame one. Like a lot of characters have that. So he got all that stuff. But the difference is, like, take Milia. Let's use Milia. So it's still Milia, right? So she moves around the screen instant speed. She has really good mix-ups. When she knocks you down, you can't interact, right? Or Testament. Like, Testament had really good screen control, huge range, and then once you get Stain, it snowballs, and like they can mix you either directly if you don't have a DP. If you have a reversal, they can mix you from like 4 character lengths away, pop Stain, get a lot of meter, push the turn in a safe way, blah blah blah. Kyle loses from his own offense. That, no matter what, that sucks. And like, again, it's fair. It is actually fair that the opponent can interact with you. The issue is the top tiers don't. The top tiers don't have a lot of spots for them to lose from their block string offense, where the standard characters can lose from this situation. So even though they made a bunch of these things safer, like Dire Claire is more safe and stuff like that, in the end, he's still minus like almost all the time, right? So even though he got a bunch of good stuff, the only like a BS thing that got buffed is like Dragon Soul got buffed. That's it. Okay. Then you have Gold Lewis. Thank God that Gold Lewis is not winning tier, first of all. Thank goodness that he does not win stuff, like everything. This would be pain. So one thing that he has that the other characters in this, that many other characters in this tier do not have, is that he does not lose from his own offense. Right? There's only a couple of characters here. It would be Gold Lewis, Jacko, Testament would be the definite big 3. Bridget, probably in the long term, right? I highly value not losing from your own block strings in this game. I highly value it. Why? How many times have we seen somebody trying to stagger jabs and then like Zato back throws you in the corner, right? Or someone does close slash and they dash to try to push a turn. Leo does HDP into swipe. We have seen this many times. This sucks, right? It is really bad. It is pain. So not losing from your block string offense is huge. A lot of characters have like safe Oki in this game, like safe knockdowns, and they can follow up offense. But not every character can push their turn on the block string in a safe way. This is critical. So it is easily Gold Lewis' best aspect is that. His other best aspect is that they buffed Drone, and Drone neither goes away on block or on hit, which is incredibly scrubby, honestly. I say this as I play Milia, and Milia's H-Disc stays when she blocks moves, and I think that is too good for modern games, and he has stuff that stays out on hit, so that is crazy. So, since he has a good conversion ability as well, and he has good Oki and mix as well, and he's able to take a lot of hits, I think he's a pretty solid character. Basically, the only thing that keeps him down is matchup, still. But his matchups are better than before because his one chance is explosive. His one chance, by the way, is far more explosive than Potemkin because he doesn't need meter. He doesn't need meter. Like, Potemkin needs 50 meter, which he will get, by the way. I'm not saying Potemkin won't get the meter. He will get the meter, for sure. The thing is, Gold Lewis gets multiple chances per round because security meter builds passively. So you have multiple chances to use drone and gun, his minigun, to try to win neutral and pull up. And he gets to pull up from full screen. It's pain, okay? Then you have Geo. I know a lot of Geo players are sad about Geo this patch. Geo is a very weird character in this game. Geo is a very weird and very interesting character. I know a lot of people do not think Geo's interesting. I know a lot of people think Geo is very boring. But my brown wife is quite an interesting character, right? So the main thing is that this character wins because of a lot of nuanced stuff. Mostly that I jokingly call it a teleport. Her dash is incredibly fast, and since like October, she's been able to act on frame 2 out of this dash. A lot of people thought she was pretty mid last patch until a Japanese player named TY started getting incredible results. Actually, the winner of Arc Revo Japan was TY. So we have Arc Revo America was Nagoro Yuki Hotashi, and Arc Revo EMEA was Zato, which is Latif. So those are two characters we have in winning tier, right? But then for Japan Korea, it was won by Giovanna. right? So it was a surprise to many people. And he's not the only good Giovanna there too. There's people like Kohide and stuff out there. Kohide, Hige, and then of course in North America we have Days. Days has pretty good results in this game. And in EU you have Akarayan. I probably said his name wrong. Probably as the main one that I know off the top of my head, right? Now, she has like two main things. Two main little bitty problems. Because I still think she's actually pretty strong. But at the current time, right? The issues are, one, the flip kick getting nerfed is a pretty big deal. Because like, while you can use it for some mixed stuff and like it's good of a resource, the thing is, it used to hop over stuff, and you had to target it in a pretty direct way. So they buffed Spiral Arrow, but Spiral Arrow loses to multiple things at the same time that Flip Kick would beat. But Flip Kick is negative now. That's one big thing. Then, the other big thing that's a problem is that Sweep got nerfed. So her Sweep getting nerfed to -7, which I called, by the way. I was like, they're going to nerf this for sure. It really affects her pressure structure, because her strongest pressure structure is from 2 to 2.5 character lengths away, where dash throw is around like 11-ish frames. This is probably like the scariest spot to be when you're defending against Geo. So because of these two things, even though she's a strike throw character, and a lot of like the strike throw characters, not all of them, but many of them have the issue of, oh, you can lose on your own offense. Geo in particular was really good at not letting this happen. But now it's harder for her to do it than before. Like they basically are forcing her to commit a little bit more, and they're making it harder for her to play as safely from that range. Cool. Bridget. So Bridget is theory. Bridget is theory. Just straight theory. Right? Straight theory. I don't really know that much about this character. This character came out last week. I'm just doing what I did for Testament when they came out, where I just put like my guess of where they would end up. I think the character looks good, not winning. She doesn't have a lot of HP. Her guts is not good. Her defense is good. Her neutral is good. But I feel like characters that are able to attack safely from ranges will be able to like really mess with her movement, even though she's able to feint and break on will and stuff like that. But the characters who have really committal neutral are going to struggle against Bridget a lot. But again, Bridget is just a prediction. Okay, cool. Testament. So Testament, this character, I've been playing. So I have not played this character since EVO, but I played Testament like all of July. To try to fight heavies, and I probably will keep on playing Testament for heavies like Gold Lewis and stuff. And this character is really good. So the neutral control has always been good, and the normals are good. Like the 6P is so good, far slash way better, low profile 2K. But one thing about Testament is like they don't have to like try to win to beat you, right? Which I value a lot also. So like Testament has like this more consistent 50-50. Like they let Testament follow a JH, JD, H Fireball in the air, or JH 2K. It's pretty hard to block. But in the case where the opponent has like good defense, like Leo Flash Kick or something like that, you are able to use Arbiter Sign, which they buffed a ton. So they buffed them buffing Arbiter Sign helps out a lot. Stain giving you all that meter helps out a lot. Better normals helps out a bunch. So they're able to play like a pretty safe neutral game. Safe, passive neutral game with an emphasis on control. And then once they stain you, they're able to play at many ranges and play either the resource game or going for damage. Basically our main blessing, and there's a couple of characters like this. Vikin's going to be another one. Our main blessing is that just not a lot of strong players play Testament. Like, most of the Testament players, they are, of course, strong Testament players. I'm not saying they're not. Most of the Testament players, in particular, compared to characters like Leo and stuff, they're like really autopilot with the zoning. And if they were like a little bit more measured, it would be so much harder. It would be so much harder to play against. Okay? Yeah, Biken. So, Biken is actually one of my picks. Another thing about this character is many people tell me she is a top 5 character. I don't know. honestly. But I've been playing her very hard for the past week as of this recording. She is strong. She is certainly strong. The normal buffs help her. Certain changes to certain situations, like for example, Kabari and Kabari follow-up, especially the follow-up. How hard you can't 6p it anymore, you can't low profile anymore. That's really nice. So that guessing game is a little bit more direct. Her damage is good, her meter building is good, her mix is good. Once she catches you, it's troublesome. At a bare minimum, it's troublesome, right? Her defense is uniquely very good too, in a different way than like Soul, right? Because you have a 4-frame 5p, you have parry and parry PRC along with like system mechanics, which can be pretty hard for people to deal with, honestly, if they don't have projectile Oki. And she has a bunch of nice relevant matchups, right? Like she does well against Zato, she does well against Chip. People tell me she's good against Geo, but I don't buy it. She's supposed to be good against Kyle. She's definitely good against Soul. So matchup wise, damage wise, basically like it's kind of like Leo, where I feel like she is threatening in every phase of the game. She's threatening in neutral, she's threatening on offense, and she's threatening on defense, which is pretty nice. Cool. And then the last character in this tier would be Chip. So Baiken is a better Geo. You are Omega capping. That is crazy. That is insanity. They are not similar in any way, I would say. The main thing about Baiken is I actually think it's the same as Chip, where there's just not like a super strong player on Baiken. Most of the people who are like top players of the game play like those top 5 characters, and there's some other exceptions like Geo, Chip, Gold Lewis, Kyle, like things like that, right? Then you have Chip. So Chip, this character, I basically refuse to hear that he's not a good character, honestly. He's hyper fast, ridiculous neutral, good defense, good offense, good meter build, good damage, good mix. And mobility is so important too. Mobility is so important too. Now, the main issue, outside the obvious one, because everyone's going to be like, well, he dies if he gets hit. Oh, okay. Yes, we all know it. He dies if he gets hit. His real big issue is the one I've been repeating, is he can lose from his own offense. So even though his offense is good, he can lose from it, which is pain. Like the Baiken versus Chip is a pretty good example, because like Baiken has all these defensive options. Like you have to worry about 5p, you have to worry about 6p, you have to worry about parry, you have to worry about jump, you have to worry about IME, you have to worry about dash block, you have to worry about all this stuff, right? So that's definitely a struggle for sure. I think that's probably his main, literally the main thing that keeps him down. I think is probably that over everything else. Besides that, I think he's strong in like every aspect of the game. Okay. Last is winning characters. Woo! Winning, yes, winning characters. Okay, so I don't think I have to say that much about winning characters. I think all these characters belong here. I will say I will definitely hear the argument for Chip, Baiken, and Testament all being in winning tier as well. Right? But I will basically not hear any character in winning tier being moved down. Right? So let's start with Zato. So Zato, this is why I like this format. Zato is a very unique one. Yo, Lanimal, thank you so much for the 1 year, by the way. Thank you so much, Zato is a very, very, very unique one in that specifically, he does have a bunch of issues. He has system issues where he has no guts, for example. He has below average health. He's not good at converting combos off random hits. He does have bad matchups, right? Like Ram's a bad match, for example. I think he struggles against Baiken. He loses to Axel. However, quite literally, all he does is win. Despite all the laundry list, you can list more than what I listed as problems for Zato, but all he does is win. That's it. He's just so good at winning because he does a ton of damage. 1, he does a ton of damage on everything. 2, he can convert neutral into 50-50s. And 3, he doesn't lose on his own offense. I think the biggest thing is that he doesn't lose on his own offense, and that's the main reason. So in the chat, right? People don't kill Eddie enough. The thing is, this is the 4th thing that's good about him. He can attack from a safe range. So some characters can't kill Eddie easily. Like Milia cannot kill Eddie that easily compared to previous versions of the game, where like Baiken has Kawari, so like if they're doing drills, you can hit Eddie for doing drills. But then if they try to like send Eddie at you to mess with you, you can wait for it and hit it. Not all characters are able to play like that against Eddie. And then you have to think about Pierce as well. Pierce hits from like 3 to 4 character lengths away, and it's 14 frames, right? So he's able to attack from really safe ranges. He does have to gamble a little bit on his offense, but not too much. Once he breaks the wall, it's a game also. So like, despite all his issues, the most important things are okay, let me say it again. Despite all his issues, the things I find to be extremely important in the game, he is very good at. What are those things? He does not lose on his block string offense. That is big thing number 1. Big thing number 2, he can attack safely in neutral. Big thing number 3, he does a lot of damage. Boom. So because of all those things, despite his problems, he's still, I think I don't even have to say I think he wins. We watch it all the time. All he does is win. all he does is win. Right? Okay. Cool. I mean, hey, oppose plays into the character being able to play the game safely, right? To play neutral safely, because you have to worry about Nobiru. If you jump, GG. If you get hit, GG. If you block, 50-50 or pressure. If you get hit by drills, GG. If you block it, he just runs up. Pierce, it's immediate RPS, and at max range, the RPS is different than point blank. And then if you pull up and he does oppose and you press the wrong button, you're dead. You're just dead. Then you have Nago. So Nago's another one. So Nago has the unique strength of he can win the game from round start, which is not very common in this game. He can play neutral very safely. He has a bunch of moves that teleport, like a ton of moves that teleport at you. He has mad damage. He has mad life. He has heavy defense, so he has like the big grab, the good backdash. It honestly, his main issue is that he's not like mobile. So like, there's a lot of characters. I thought this way about like Milia versus Nago for a long time, where I'm like, oh, it's fine. I just have to hit him like a couple extra times, because like she's so mobile and she can bait like a bunch of like reactions from him and stuff. But because he does so much damage and he has a lot of health, it's okay for him to like gamble around these situations, even though I feel like I win them most of the time because my character doesn't do enough damage in those spots when I'm correct anyway. So all these things put together, plus like his ability to be like really strong in round start, really strong after wall break, I think puts him in winning, and we see him doing super well all the time. Leo is another one that we see all the time. Leo is like Baiken, but proven, essentially, where he is strong in every phase of the game. Like, his neutral is godlike, his block string offense is godlike, his defense is godlike. Now, I will say specifically for Leo, I should have said this for Nago, but Nago, it's not as big as Leo. Specifically for Leo, he can actually lose from his block string offense. It just takes a very skilled player to do. If you are not prepared for it, and if you haven't studied it, because you need to literally know what to do after every single normal he touches you with, and what options you have and what options he has. If you do not have this on deck, it will be really hard for him to defend. But if you do have this on deck, it will be challenging for the Leo player, but he has the HP to deal with it. And then, even if you're right, like let's say you gambled with like Giovanna, well, cool. Now you're a strike throw character against Leo, right? And Leo can definitely win from his defense because he has HDP. Okay. Then we have Ram. The only thing to preface for Ram is that the only thing she does not have in common with the other 4 characters is that she wins less. That's it. I'll just say that first, because this is winning tier, but she doesn't really like win big events. But I feel like she's kind of like the opposite of Zato, where like she has a laundry list of strengths and not many weaknesses, but she just doesn't perform as well. That's it. That's straight up it. Okay. But we don't have to talk that much about her. You know, you've seen it all. Like, her damage is ridiculous. Her pressure is ridiculous. Her meter gain is really good. Neutral structure is good. Good gold burst situation. Good blue burst situation. Good mix. Like, I would say her defense is not like amazing until she gets meter, but like once she gets meter, her defense is much better and the threat of damage is really high. I mean, we've heard it a bunch about Ram. She's been good since the game came out, for basically the same reasons, right? And then last is Happy Chaos, where Happy Chaos, high skill 4 character, but once you clear skill 4, I think this character is like just super brain dead. Auto zoning really strong, mix better than before. Zoning actually worse. I think that people actually need to get generally better at neutral against this character in this version, because I feel like it takes a skilled HC to actually make zoning work well in this version because of some concentration changes. But that's more to be seen. But he is, again, common theme, repeated theme. He does not lose from his block string offense. He's able to play neutral really safely. He converts all his hits into combos, into win condition. His defense is probably the worst out of all these characters besides Zato. However, his return for being correct is the best out of all the characters in the game. Yeah. So that's it. That's all the characters, okay? So as a quick little review, winning tier is exactly what it means. Relevant tier is exactly what it means. Counterpick, I just think that if you play that character, you probably need a second character, or that character serves as a good counterpick character. Niche, I just think they're just used for really specific things and they're not really that relevant. On top of that, there are certain characters like Axel being potentially counterpick, Soul being potentially relevant, Faust being potentially counterpick, and then Chip, Viken, and Testament being potentially winning. So there's a lot of flexibility with how I built this list, basically.